Okay, in this video I'm going to go over the order of operations of what we are trying to achieve in the first 10 minutes or so in Siege. So I'm going to start with that. So the first thing we go for is Herald. That costs 1,000 merits, and it doesn't cost any crystals to obtain that. And that is, I explained that in the Herald video more in detail, but we get that first, and that gives us 1,000 bonus crystals. And so then we have the Herald, then we usually have the Herald hand off the merits over to the Super Farm. Super Farm takes that, gets the buffs. Then after the Super Farm is already with all of the buffs on a tower, we come up and pick up the merits off of them. They've already been super farming for a while, so they have quite a few. It looks like I got just under 9,000 merits already. So the more hands we have and practice getting the things done in this order, the more things we can do simultaneously. Like if we know we already have enough merits for heralds, we can have the person that we have designated as the super farm already doing casting bars to get their buffs up. So after we have all of that done, oh, and then also if somebody doesn't know where to hand their merits off, this is one of the best places to come spend your merits. This is our outside processor. It's one of the early targets of the enemy, and it only has 5 crystal extractors per processor for the entire siege. So we need to empty that, and now this is basically disposable because we have multiple processors on the inside. That was the most important thing to get off of this one. So we have 5 there. We have 10 more on the inside. And if you are not picking up all of them, if you're only picking up a certain number of them, you need to check the inside of our keep to make sure that nobody else has placed any, or if they have placed some, you need to place them on top of theirs. And we do that because we also have the farm, and I'll show that real quickly. That is on this side of our castle. And this is purposely on opposite sides because then they have to go all the way across to get over here to take out both. Okay, so this is assault time, battle time. There's only 10 of them for the entire siege that's shared between everybody. They only cost 3 merits per. So basically you kill a balloon, you can buy one. It's good to have a backfield person with a battle time scroll and not just have the frontline people, because it also increases the casting bar on the extraction towers. And that is the main reason why we stack them. I like to put them in here, and I like to tuck them around this corner here. Mainly because then, if they do get in, they don't always look around the corner. But if they do, like, usually you don't need crystal extraction towers at that point anyways. There's not much you can't really save a siege with them. It's also easier if you put them on the ground floor for the person that's running in to battle time them, because if you put them up higher on like the second tier or even the third tier of the roof, it's harder to, it takes more time to come in here and battle time them. So I cast them all in the same spot, and then I cast the battle time scroll on top of them. But look behind both corners and see if somebody put it up on this that tier up there too before you start dropping yours. Okay, sorry this takes so long. There's battle time. See, and then that increases the casting speed. You can't see it, but basically these towers have casting bars, and when it finishes, it gives us crystals. Don't worry about upgrading these. It literally just increases the HP and decreases like the damage received from players. If they're in here hitting the extractors, you're beyond the point of needing the extractors. You've basically lost. You're just basically playing the game of how badly are you losing. Okay, so that's that. Okay, another really important thing, which I'm pretty sure I've covered in another video, is the Guild Siege Quick Trade add-on. I'll put a link for that in the description. It basically, like, this is the whole add-on interface. You're either on donate, you're on collect, and it's on or off. So now I have it on, I'm on collect. If I want to give to somebody, I change it over to donate. That's the whole add-on. All it does is it gives all of your merits, or up to, I think there's 8 slots in the trading menu, that many stacks of merits. If you're getting an error for trading somebody, check to make sure that all of the merits are in as few stacks as possible, and then also make sure that the person has enough spots available to accept the trade. Okay, there's 2 more things I want to cover. One of them is the throne. If you do not own any towers in Siege and you can't buy traps from the banners, the banner traps can also be purchased at the throne. There's a couple of other things you can purchase. These are what we call scrolls. If people are trying to say like, hey, we need more people to get scrolls, this is what they're talking about. Costs 300 merits and 300 crystals. This is usually best for frontline attackers to volunteer to pick those up, because the use of those is to drop it on the enemy's gates. So if you can't survive up to their gate, it's not effective. Let's see, I think the best ones to get are the Meteor Shower, and then, is it the Bone Cracker? They all do 10% damage, but the Meteor Shower does not have a casting bar, and therefore you can't get interrupted, and some of these have casting bars on them. I'm just going to test one. So you find it in your bag, you right click it, and you place it on the ground. Okay, that one did not have a casting bar. I feel like it's the Flaming Arrows ones that has a casting bar. Oh, this one has an alternative effect too. Reduces movement speed. Anyways, get the Meteor Shower. If that one's sold out, get the Bone Cracker. I'm going to cover these traps in another video, but you can also find them here. This I just purchased and try to use. It's supposed to be used on stuff like flame towers, electric towers, like the traps that we put down. And it says it changes it over to your team. Very difficult to use because it has like 5 different casting bars it has to finish through. But that is what that does. Bursting Beetles is a pretty nice thing. You can put it on, it's basically a debuff you put on an enemy player, and when it counts down, it does a massive % damage on them, and I think it also hits the people around them as well. So if they don't immune it, it can quickly drop their HP within range that somebody can come by and finish killing them, or if their HP is already low, it could kill them. And then this is the item that protects you from bursting beetles. So it's 40 merits, it's 100 crystals. Yeah, so it's basically everything at the throne. And then, let's see. I gotta get over to a tower quickly. Okay, I'm gonna cover real quickly on how to invis cap a tower. We currently own this tower, but I'm just gonna talk about it real quick. So basically the idea of invis capping a tower is you don't want the guards to see you before you've clicked the actual tower. And so I usually try to get around so I'm the opposite side of the guards. And then when I'm about well, so this is based on your level difference too. I'm level 100, so if you're below level 100, this might not work for you. You might have to chain multiple immunes. But it'll be a physical immune. So if you're a knight or a priest, you can use your immune skills to chain into it if you need to. I usually cast around whatever this range is. So you hit that, you run up under immune so the guards don't see you. Touch the tower, and you need to touch the tower before you hit your invis pot, or it's not going to last long enough. This also works for fear capping. If you're going to go for a fear cap, you'd hit your physical immune food, get to the tower, touch the tower, and hopefully you've timed it correctly with whoever's being heralded that they'll hit the fearless skill before you've directly after you've touched the tower. One thing that other people need to be aware of when you are capping a tower, though, is that any aggro that you take on the guards is going to interrupt their fear cap or their invis cap. So if you're coming in to the tower and the guards, you need to make sure that you know what tower what the name of the tower is that you are at. So like this is Burrock. If you see in the chat box that somebody's capping that, but the guards are just standing like no big deal, like they don't know what's going on, do not approach that tower. Because as soon as you aggro the guards, they usually cast an AoE skill before they come running at you, and that'll interrupt the person's cast bar. Same idea for when you are shooting a turret from the corner of the castle. It's a very good idea to build a turret up there, if you can see the hammer, and shoot it at the towers that we own, especially if somebody is trying to cap the tower. If they are not under fearless or some sort of immune, it will interrupt their cast on that tower. But if we do not own the tower and there's no visible traps that you are shooting at, preferably don't shoot at that tower then. Especially if somebody says, hey, I'm going to try to invis cap, like, don't do that. Then stop. Because if you, every time you activate these guards, it's gonna interrupt them. Okay, I'm going to quickly show invis capping on this tower. Also, invis capping does not work if they have traps around it, like Eye of True Knowledges will pop you out of hide or something that'll hit you. But so I usually start with, oh, I just hit this. Usually start with a speed macro. Oh, the other thing is don't hit Spell Weave because it shares a cooldown with Invisibility Potion. So don't do that. Also, this works if you're a rogue as well. You don't need to use an Invis Potion. I'm a Scout Rogue, or Scout Warden, so I can basically... I got Herald. Oh, never mind, that doesn't work anyways. Okay, so I hit my immune food. I run in, touch the tower, hit the pot, and I've got this tower. The other problem I run into when trying to invis cap a tower is sometimes if you're standing on one of the ridges on the tower base and it makes you take a step, that'll also interrupt your casting bar. Okay, I think that's basically everything I wanted to cover in this video. I can go show the operation of what a turret does. Nice trapping on R1. Okay, so there's the turret. You basically jump in it and you can shoot things and it does an AoE hit based on where you're aiming. This is a good skill to practice too if you want to like drive a siege vehicle. There's actual movable catapults too. See, but you can aim like directly at the tower here if somebody's trying to cap the tower. That can basically save a tower if they're not in Fearless. Okay, I'm going to end the video there.